Aloha, everyone. Welcome to Open Source Stories, episode 2 of season 1. We just launched last week, which is really exciting. So, Open Source Stories is stemming from the open source program at Vercel. And Vercel's open source program started in April of this year. And we're getting a lot of really cool people into this program. So, I wanted to get behind the scenes with the people who are building these awesome open source projects that we're all using, and it's holding up our project. So today we have the creators and the maintainers of Nativewind. So let's bring Dan and Mark to the stage. Dan, Mark, welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
So creator and maintainer of Nativewind, we'll get into that. But first, let's do some quick intros. Chat, if you are hanging out in the chat, let us know where you're joining in from. I'm joining in from Denver. Denver, Colorado. Mark, where are you joining in from?
Brisbane, Australia.
And what time is it?
Oh, yeah.
And what time is it in Brisbane?
It's 2 a.m. and that's why it's a bit darker with my lighting here. I need to get some new lights.
In our pre-show, we were, because I didn't realize Mark was in Australia, and I was like, oh wait, but what time is it? It's 2 a.m. Mark is the OG. Woke up for this. And then Dan, where are you joining us from?
I'm in Los Angeles. I was in Denver yesterday. I was flying through Denver. So I was a layover. I was only there for like an hour. So
Dan and I did hang out a couple of months ago. Was it months now?
I just remember the coffee was good.
The coffee was great.
Yeah.
Dan was in Denver, so we caught up. Talked about the open source program. So yeah, I'm Cap. I'm the head of developer community at Vercel, and I will let Mark and Dan introduce themselves.
Go ahead, Mark.
Cool. I'm Mark. I'm the creator of Nativewind. Don't know how to introduce myself. That's basically it.
You have no other qualities. There's nothing else.
No other qualities.
It's like a fun fact. Like, and I also love to scuba dive. I don't know.
Oh, I have many fun facts. I actually love going hiking and getting away from the computer, not just being open source. I find if I go on a hike, then immediately I want to come back and code something new. That's where all my best thoughts come from, is completely away from the computer.
So true.
Which makes sense for Australia, I suppose.
Yeah, we do a lot of hiking and stuff in here. Yeah.
I'm Dan. I am maintainer of Nativewind. I've been on React Native since it kind of started out. And fun fact, I like vintage motorcycles, and I like to ride those around Los Angeles a bunch. That's like my new thing.
I feel so LA. I love
it's
that.
Very,
yeah. Is there like a meetup for vintage?
Oh, there's so many. I until I got to Los Angeles, this is the first time I went on a, like, I want to say 100-person motorcycle trip. And when there's 100 of something, rules stop applying in a way. It's like you just kind of like, yeah, the light's red, but like, is it? You know, like
you have to all stay together. You can't stop at the red.
Yeah. Suddenly, like, I went from hating those people who do like the street takeovers to being like, all right, just get out of here. You know, just move along and like get out of here.
Get out of here.
No, it's
cool.
Good.
Well, speaking of non-fun in the hiking and on a bike type stuff, Nativewind. So Nativewind is in the open source program, which we're like so stoked. It's like so exciting to have you all with us. But this is like the way to style React Native with Tailwind CSS. So what made you want to build this? What's the why behind Nativewind?
What's the why? There's so many reasons. It's actually a lot of things came together at the same time. Initially, it started because I was working for a company that was using Vue.js, and they were looking at migrating to React and wanted to build a mobile app at the same time. And we wanted to bring all the styling from Vue.js, which was Tailwind, into React Native. And we weren't really happy with any of the solutions that there were at the time. The other reason is actually because of, I guess, in a way, Vercel. So Fernando, head of mobile at Vercel,
Okay.
was really big in the community trying to get cross-platform React Native happening. So React Native for the web and for native devices. And he was working on a styling library at the same time as well, and kind of pushing new ideas. And he inspired me to kind of take this idea and kind of run with it and see where it'll end up. So they were probably the two main catalysts of I had a work requirement that ultimately didn't, we never actually used the solution, and kind of Fernando kind of helping push that idea along.
That's
You know,
cool.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear because Fernando, like, even the way that I met Fernando is just like he's a very inspirational person. You know, you talk to him and he cares about the right things, you know, and he's dismissive of the stuff that doesn't matter. And yeah, it's always great talking to him.
Fernando, if you're listening, thanks for
Yeah.
Nativewind. No, but so I always love that kind of stuff where you like had a problem and you built something to fix that problem. But why open source it?
So we open sourced it because there was no other real solutions in the React Native ecosystem at the time. So React Native was a couple of years behind the web in terms of its styling. We were still using the CSS and JS solutions that the web had moved off, like style components and emotion. And at the time, everyone didn't know where native styling was going to go to. So open sourcing was more just a way that you can put it out there and share your idea and say, like, does the community like this approach? Like, is this how we want it to be? And so there were a number of libraries that all kind of got created at the same time. So open sourcing it was a way of collaboratively communicating the way we think things should be in the future and trying
I
to see how
see.
people think about that.
It's always like I always hear like mixed feelings on open sourcing stuff because people are like, you know, they work so hard on something and they're like, well, but like I want to keep it safe. But then there's what you just said, and this is how we think about it. And we want the community to understand that. And I really like that. Nativewind has been around for how long? It's been quite a while.
2018 was the first version, I think.
Okay.
I mean, sub 500 downloads a week, but yes, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So that was our earliest package. It's really been around about 3 to 4 years now of active work on it. Yeah.
And what version are you all on now?
I'm on version 4. We're hoping to get out version 5.
We have to check every day. It might be different if you check in later this week with us.
I hear version 5 is coming out soon.
Yeah. It's coming. We had some emergency fixes we had to do on version 4 this week. We had a lot of new version of React Native. Everyone moved up to React 19. A lot of things broke. Had to quickly jump in and fix them. But we're getting there.
We're getting there. Chat, you heard it. V5 coming soon.
I'm testing all the installation stuff to make sure things are, you know, up to snuff. And so, yeah.
So being open source, what has been like the easiest part and what's like the hardest part about being open source? Like, is there the like extra pressure to like get V5 out because they can like see what's happening, or yeah?
I guess like the easiest part is you get a community of people behind you who kind of help and believe in the product. I guess actually, sorry, I'll reframe that. Once you get that kind of community going, that becomes the easiest part. Getting that community at the start can be pretty difficult. But once you keep it open source and get people involved, you find that the project kind of picks up momentum itself. And Nativewind has been very organically spread. We haven't really advertised it. I'm not really on Twitter too much. And kind of just like watching the community kind of pick up and go with it has been amazing. And seeing all the blog posts and YouTube videos of everyone coming together to use it has probably been the easiest part. I guess, yeah, so getting that community at the start was probably the hardest part. And changing people's belief in the way we were doing things. So like I was saying, React Native was pretty set in the way it did styling. It was very old school. The web had already moved off this way. and trying to convince people that this new radical approach of using class names for styling, for all of our web users here, they're like, that sounds normal, but for React Native, that took a lot of convincing that, hey, maybe this is a good idea to go. And that was probably the hardest part, is just initially getting that small community to kind of band together. But yeah, after that, it's been pretty good.
So you're telling me you built a community without X?
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's amazing. We all need to take notes from Mark and Dan.
You also get like exposed to just sort of like the best and worst qualities of people, I feel like, in doing this work. And um I've definitely learned a lot. I stepped into Nativewind last summer after being part like briefly working on Tamagui, very briefly working at Expo, and you learn a lot of like reputation really matters, like more, I would say, than anything. And you kind of have to maintain this this approach to your work where, like, regardless of how the person is showing up to you, you just kind of want to, be pleasant, like be pleasant to interact with. And it's, if a person thinks about your tool as like, oh man, I really don't look forward to using it because like if and when something goes wrong, I don't want to have to like interact or whatever, I think that's a really bad, like that speaks to your tool in a lot of ways. And something that I really admired about Nativewind and Mark is just like very open to the concept. Like, let's make this like a really good experience. Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's also been a defining feature of the library. So, like, one thing was when you're building a tool, and especially open source, you have no idea about what the skill set of the user is. Like, they're often picking your tool to solve a problem, and you don't know how long they've been working on that problem for, or what skill set they're at. Are they advanced user, beginner user? Are they just picking up React for the first time? And so I guess like a hard part was first also just kind of understanding how to address everyone. Like, how do we put out documentation? How do we make the library easy to use? And just trying to make it a good experience and not just solving people's problems. So get that person who's been banging their head against the computer for the last week or so, try to get something working, but they can just look at Nativewind and be like, yes, that solves my problem, and get it going. For a while there, it was pretty rough. The setup instructions and things, we always assumed that like you were an advanced user using this library. It's been a bit of a humbling experience to try and actually, as our user base grows, work out how can we make this usable for everyone, make it a lot easier, stuff like that. And that's kind of been, a good experience.
That's really cool that, I mean, you had to learn it, but also you're implementing it into the way that you build this project. It's not, oh, well, we are a tool for advanced users. We're a tool for advanced users, and now we are also a tool for beginners or someone who may not understand what this tool can do for them, or they've been banging their head against this project or this problem for a year or one day, and by the time they get to Nativewind, everyone's a little bit different. And it's cool that you all are like noticing that and making changes for that,
I've come to realize as part of this work that attitude towards open source, any individual's attitude towards open source, if you're looking at a library that someone else is working on, you should look at it as like, okay, there are these shortcomings, like there are these great things, aspects of it, and there's the shortcomings. If I feel something is missing, then fork it, go make it better, and that's a great aspect. And a lot of people won't do that. But if it's your project and it's open source, you really should aspire to be the change in that dynamic that you want to see. Like, you should really treat it as like a product, like, let's make this experience best in class. Not just even compared to everything else out there, but just like really what it should be. And that really shows for folks, say, who now a lot of folks from web are going over to React Native, right? And they're bringing a lot of assumptions from web into that. So that's the proving ground, I would say, for that model of thinking.
Yeah, and to add to that, how many people are you seeing like on the daily that are putting in PRs to like improve the product or fix a bug? And like, are some of them like really quirky, or some of them like really weird, or some of them like, oh, we should definitely implement that? But this, like, what's that like the PR world of Nativewind?
It's kind of comes and goes. Unfortunately, the library is a little bit complicated in how it is used and how it hooks into things. So sometimes accepting PRs can be a bit difficult, mostly just because in a lot of ways we're breaking the rules of React and doing things that you're not meant to be doing. And so sometimes you have to be very careful about that sort of usage. But that's something that we're actively looking at changing. Now we are going to be following the rules of React in the new version. So we're hoping to get more people into the community with more PRs. But a lot of that is like, if you want more contributions, like it's up to you, like the creators and the maintainers, to kind of provide that information for people to contribute, because it's very complex and we don't have much documentation on the internal workings of it. That's why we don't get that many people contributing. And because we're not really sharing like our vision or our roadmap, it's hard for people to join in. So that's one of the reasons why like Dan is on the team to help us. Like, he's revamped the website so much. We've got a lot of praise from that. And he's really just helping people help understand the library. And we're going to expand out into like more things of like how it works and things like that. But I don't think people realize that when they build something open source, that they often just expect that if I put it on the internet, someone's going to learn it and help out. But in reality, sometimes you need to help people and guide them along and say, like, look, actually, if you want to contribute, here's like the series of steps that you can go through or something like that.
Yeah, it was, making it one of my first goals jumping in was make it really easy to recreate issues and stuff like that. Make it something that takes less than 30 seconds. And that was challenging. I think Guillermo actually, when we did a recent chat with him, Cap, again, thanks for putting that together. He mentioned something that I've been thinking about a lot, which is to like, you want to separate requests for help with something from things that are actually wrong with like actual proper bugs, and heavily prioritize the latter, heavily prioritize the bugs and address them. And a huge part of my goal in stepping into the organization is separating that stuff out and surfacing it to Mark, while I focus on a lot of the usage stuff, right? And the experience component of it. It's all valid. It's just, in an attempt to build that reputation, people are really going to remember the situations. Jared Sumner with Bun is a really good example. Like, if you have a problem with Bun and you hit up Jared, he will solve it instantly, generally. Like, he has a tendency to jump right onto things, and you remember that years from now. So,
yeah. What Dan was referencing was we called it the Q&G, which was a Q&A with Guillermo, and it was like an exclusive event for the OSS program members. But yeah, it was like very insightful, and just like the way you interact with the community and open source is just like Mark, that you were saying, you have to like learn how to like interact with them. You have to like figure it out, because it kind of like it grows and it changes as the product grows and as the community grows. In the chat, someone said that they love Nativewind, which we all do. Nativewind is so great. They've been using it for about a year. They needed a mobile app, and they came from the website, and they couldn't stand the standard React Native styling. And this is just a tool that makes life easier for people coming from web to mobile, or have always been in mobile. And I know for myself, if I didn't have Tailwind, and I went, because I'm web, and I went to mobile and I didn't have Tailwind, I wouldn't really know what to do. And so Nativewind would be the thing that I needed after I'm hitting my head up like for so many days on a problem. So Mark, you started this, I'm gonna say 2018, and then we'll say 3 to 4 years. But then Dan, you joined last
year.
summer.
Mm-hmm.
So open source is creating these relationships. Are there any other, like, how big is the Nativewind team? I actually don't know this.
It's
Just us two.
largely, yeah, it's just the two.
Oh.
There's
Yeah.
meaningful people who jump in.
Yes, there's other people in the community.
Okay.
Yeah, Doug Loud from Expo, Hearbud also from Expo. Just a lot of people who jump in, do a lot, and like, you know, here and there. It's we greatly appreciate that. So
Amazing. And how did this start? Like, how did hey Dan, you should join Nativewind?
oh yeah. So again, like I had been working on something that picked up a little bit of steam, Create Expo Stack, and that kind of brought me to App.js, which is an annual conference in Poland. Shout out to Software Mansion. And I had heard Mark was going to be there, and I really wanted to talk to him. So I sat down in the expert lounge, which is like tucked away. And there he is, just lounging out in like a Hawaiian t-shirt. And I was just like, kind of like, shoot your shot, you know, like, who knows? Fully expecting him to basically tell me to bugger off. I was like, hey, so Nativewind, people really want this like version 4 thing out or whatever, 4.1. And it seems like you could use some help with this all. And this is like make or break kind of moment. And he looks at me, he pauses, and he says, you know, I reckon I might, you know. And I was just like, I'm in, let's do it. So from there, I think it was like a month that I got like access to things, and trying to make sense to the point of like, you know, Nativewind is a really complex library. I definitely still don't understand entirely how it functions. But I think that that's actually an advantageous point, like a perspective to come at it from for experience, is for folks who don't, how they expect to be able to use it. And I've really just sort of led from that perspective and took a lot of inspiration from Tailwind team and Vercel actually, in terms of the end user experience of like, this is it. Like, this is the bar. And how do we make it so that people who are coming from Tailwind are not only carrying over their technical understanding and expectations, but also their experience, like expectation, that doesn't drop. And that was my biggest concern with when I stepped in, is that there was a huge departure at the time in the way of experience from the Tailwind team's work and that experience to Nativewind. And so now it's been great, because I think someone from Sentry recently hit up one of our Mark, I didn't tell you this. Someone from Sentry hit up like our design engineer and was like, oh, I like this Nativewind thing. We want something like that, you know, like, you know, that landing page experience where we have, where it's like, yeah, small like life pro tip or whatever. If you can, inside of the above the fold, like when someone lands on your landing page, if you can inside of that visually convey what your tool is actually doing, that is going to go miles for you. We have a little bit where it's just like adding in the utility classes into React Native code in the editor, and then it's showing what's happening, like rendering on a simulator as you're typing it. And just that visual, aided by that short headline description of like, you know, Tailwind for React Native, basically, that's it. You've sold like 90% of the people who are going to that page. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think a lot of people, we're engineers. We see a problem, we know how to fix it, but also we get caught up in our own world, and we realize that not everyone might see the same problem the same way. So Dan came along and just kind of refocused how we kind of present the product. and how we sell it to people and say like why this is a solution that you should be using, how it works, and positioning it. And part of that was like a complete redesign of our documentation and kind of how we present ourselves to the community. And ever since we've done that, there's been like a huge upsurge in like downloads per week and people using the product and organic word of mouth. It just kind of clicked with more people about why they should be using this library. And yeah, if I didn't meet Dan and didn't get all these sort of like contributions, I don't know where the products would be. It's been amazing, this transformation.
That's so
The
cool.
tears are coming, you know.
Tears,
The tears are
We're all crying. We're
yeah.
no, that's really cool. That I mean, you shot your shot, you shoot your shot,
Yeah.
and
It was great.
yeah, and now you all are working together on Nativewind
Yeah.
and doing great work together.
I also just want to say, like, if you are someone out there who wants to like join a library, like a lot of work in open source isn't just like putting out the code or in the library. A lot of it is like, you know, can you help with the website redesign? Can you help with the issues? And if you do want to shoot your shot with someone else in another library, like do it, but then just follow through. And even just like the smallest things can help with things like that. You know, we have some other people who keep saying like, "Oh, what's the biggest thing that you could help with at the moment?" And honestly, like if someone could help us build a better testing framework, like that would be amazing. It takes so much time off our hands because building a library isn't just like pushing out the code. It's all these other things of like helping with the community, the website, and things like that. There's some other ways that you can contribute.
So you all have a team of 2. It sounded like there was a team of 8 working on this, but come to find out it's you 2. So if you could work with anyone, add on a third, who would you add?
I mean, I think we definitely would agree on one person, but I'll mention that I am very inspired by Lee Robinson. Very thankful I got a chance to talk to him at Vercel Ship, and so I'd love to collaborate with him on the experience side of things, as well as Adam Wathen and really just the entire Tailwind team. But the one that Mark and I think would really like to collaborate with is Yatsik. I'm going to butcher the last name. I think it's Pudish. He is responsible for Unistyles. Yeah. It's for folks in the React Native. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so obviously over time there's generations of libraries. I think Nativewind, when it first came out, was revolution in what it did. There's now newer libraries coming out, and I'd love to work with some of the maintainers of these. So Yatsik is one of them. He has a whole new approach of doing things, whole new set of ideas, and we'd love to try and work with him. I think even just like other people to work with, Lee Rob's a good one actually. I didn't think of Lee before. That would be good. Maybe we should hit him up.
He just one line understands. Like when I went up to him at Vercel Ship, he's like, all of your communication to your users, split it into education and then technical like documentation. And one is meant for LLMs and one is meant for people. And you shouldn't try to like have them be the same thing. And it's clearly like what Vercel, like the experience is like, and it's such a small like collection of words that really went a far way for me. So really appreciate that insight. Yeah.
I think who else would be good? Dan Adamov. I'm going to butcher
Abramov.
Well.
Yeah.
Abramov. It'd be good to work with him. I once got a code review from him, and then he posted on Twitter why people using this library. Years ago. It'd be good to change his opinion there again. And I think also maybe just more with the software mansion and the expo teams, more collaboration on the library with them would be good.
Yeah.
We're excited
Lots of people.
We're excited for V5 and the future of Nativewind. So
yeah.
All right, so we are at the end. I have one final question, then we'll say our outros and goodbyes and throw in some links to the chat. What is your favorite dessert?
Oh my God.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
I don't actually love sweet food all that much. But I am definitely a sucker for baklava and like Turkish
Okay.
delights
Turkish
from like
delights.
childhood level stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Turkish delights have the powder on it, right? Like the little like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like they got I think they have I don't recall what nut is in there, but I think it's like a pistachio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the weirdest amalgamation. I feel like if you wrote it out, people would be very confused, but when you eat it, you're just kind of like, "Oh God, I'm gonna eat this whole box now."
Narnia put Turkish delights on the map for me. I didn't know what it was before. Yeah, because she gives Edmund a Turkish delight. The White Witch gives him Turkish delights, and then he like has to have more. So that's why he
That's
goes
a
back to
deep
her.
cut, Cap. That's a
Yeah.
really deep cut. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
Narnia and
Wow.
Turkish delights.
All right.
Okay, Mark, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh man, I'm gonna be cliche for an Australian. I'm gonna say pavlova, which
What
I'm
even
not even
is that?
Yeah, didn't think Americans would know what pavlova is.
I thought you were gonna say like Vegemite or something like this.
No, oh man, Vegemite to that. That'd be fun. Pavlova is kind of, I guess you describe it as a cake. How does Wikipedia describe what a pavlova is?
I like how Mark has to look up what
Yeah,
his
he has to
dessert
look it
is.
up.
Yeah, like he doesn't even
Like
know how
a-
to explain it in regular
It's like
English.
a kind of very fluffy, kind of marshmallowy type cake. Lots of cream and sugar on top with lots of fruits on it.
Now I know what to get Mark for his
And
birthday.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah, yeah.
delicious. Yes, it's really
Can't wait.
good because it gets really hot here, and so it's really good to have on a summer's day at the beach or by the pool. We have a hot Christmas here, so every time I eat it, it always kind of reminds me of just being around family. And
Nice.
Yeah,
That's the best.
Nice. Mine changed. Last night I made some gingerbread cookies, and that is now my favorite dessert. Is the gingerbread cookies I made last night.
I was just assuming for Hawaii, because you're Hawaiian, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always just assume it's something to do with spam. I don't know why.
We don't eat spam for dessert, but yes, we should.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
But
That makes
it
sense.
changes every week. I try and make a new favorite dessert of mine for the week. So this week is gingerbread.
Yes.
Next week, I don't know what it's going to be.
Dark chocolate is always also a week, but like very high percentage dark chocolate to the effect where people are like, why do you eat this? So
yeah, I love super dark chocolate. It's great. Don't know why you have no chocolate. Just good
now I know
dark
what to
chocolate.
get you guys for a gift. Dark chocolate.
Yeah, with like Vercel, like that. You guys should start selling the Vercel logo like as a chocolate bar. Just like jet black, like very dark chocolate kind of.
That's really cool.
Yeah, ideas. That one you get for
Ideas.
free.
Thanks, Dan. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Dan and Mark, for chatting about Nativewind and being on season 1, episode 2 of Open Source Stories.
Thank you.
We are opening up open source program applications for fall cohort in like 2 weeks. So if you have an open source project and you want to apply, definitely apply. Pauline's going to put the link in the chat for us. Dan, Mark, where can people find you?
Twitter for me. So was it x.com /Dan Stepanov? Best of luck spelling it.
I
think Pauline will put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pauline.
I'm on Twitter as well, at Mark_Lawler. But also, like, kind of the best way to find us is we do a weekly Nativewind stream at the State of Nativewind. So if you just follow
Wednesdays.
the Nativewind on Twitter, then post the link there for people to go in, talk about what's up, and you can get all the news from there.
Yeah, we also have them on the resources /resources page of our website, nativewind.dev. And if you want to join the Discord, that's nativewind.dev /Discord, I believe.
Cool. Right on. Well, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, chat, for hanging out. And this concludes episode 2. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
No problem. Thank you.